The Lord can make you tumble, the Lord can make you turn, the Lord can make you overflow, but the Lord can't make you burn. In 1969, the Cuyahoga River, which runs straight through Cleveland, Ohio, was so polluted it actually caught fire. 50 years later, something else from Cleveland caught fire, not because of pollution, but because of speed. Cleveland, Ohio resident DJ Alessadrini became the third different winner in as many races this season, joining previous winners, defending champion Robert Hartley, and four-time MX-5 World Tour title holder Sonny Cantion. As we leave Virginia and head to Belgium for the next round, the Greek streak, Ioannis Moudalidis, who sits a single marker outside of the points lead, is a top candidate to become the season's fourth different winner. Will that be the case? Will Hartley, Cantion, and Alessadrini strike a second time? Or will another driver, and there are many to choose from, get the win? Find out soon as the Advanced Mazda Cup comes to Spa for round 4 of the 2019 Spring Season Championship. And you can see all the strength of field action live as it happens right here on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. Hello and welcome. Joe Peak joins yours truly, Phil Soups on, to bring you our Word's Eye view. Sean Crackers Ambrose has director duties, armed with cameras locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. Joe, today it's little cars on a big track. Tell us about Spa.
Big track is right. You're looking at nearly 3-minute lap times around this 7-kilometer track. That's over 4 miles for every circuit around. And believe it or not, this is the shortened version of the classic track. Back when it was fully a street circuit, it ran a whopping 15 kilometers. Now, in most race cars, this track is more about how good you are through its many fast sweeping corners. But in the MX-5, this 19-turn circuit turns into a challenge of retaining the draft. There's just not a lot of grunt in these things. So some of the more famously dangerous turns like Eau Rouge or Blanchimont become easily flat-out affairs. Expect more of a strategic race to take place instead of an all-out raw sprint to the finish. But don't take this to mean this won't be a challenge for the drivers. There's some pretty tricky bends that will separate the quick from the truly fast. In fact, to get a feel for what it's like from the driver's view, why don't we go on board with the GSRC lap guide?
All right, we've got Amjad Yammer to the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Spa. Coming up to La Source, you've got a great place for a pass, but be wary on the first lap. This hairpin is notorious for chaos, so be careful not to throw away your race by getting tangled up in the first corner. Another important thing to consider is your exit of La Source. You're now plunging down the old pit straight towards Eau Rouge, and you should be on the power for quite a while. Get the car lined up to the right and do your best to minimize your steering input into this incredible uphill climb. Just make sure you don't get a cut course at Rodillion, or you'll be losing positions hand over fist down the Kimmel Straight. This is where things will get exciting though. The draft in these MX-5s mean you will see two different types of drivers. One will be looking to use the slipstream to overtake all day long, and the other will be lifting and fuel saving to outthink their opponent in the race. However, if you can't make the pass on the straight, the braking in a Lecumbe offers a chance to seal the deal. Keep your head on a swivel though, because your competitor can fight back from the outside on the switchback to the left. From there, you'll swing the car through Malmedy at the highest part of the circuit. Now we fall back downhill into Ravage, and this 180-degree corner can sometimes offer a chance for a sneaky overtake. It's also got some awkward camber, making it easy to understeer. Square off the exit and switch sides quick to get the car set up for the left-hander. This is a corner that invites confidence, maybe a bit too much confidence. Try not to overshoot the exit to avoid a 1X. Now, if you look up, you can see the pit complex way down in the valley, but we won't be there anytime soon. Hold right and then gently coax the car into Pouan. Lose the rear and anyone behind you will be coming in blind and can likely plow into you. Lose the front, and thankfully, you've got a parking lot of paved runoff on the exit to save you. Still, it's important to carry your speed because as we bring the car to the left, you're going to have some decent braking in Ifani's. This isn't that interesting of a chicane, but getting the right line is still important to your lap time. The exit, though, is not a big deal because it's a very short acceleration zone to Stavolo. After all the drop in elevation, you finally reach the lowest point of the circuit. Get the car steady and lined up so that you won't need a lift into Curva Paul Frere. You'll need every ounce of momentum once again down the backstretch. The little bends throughout means minimizing your inputs will help your speed. Just like the Kemmel Straight, draft battles are likely to take place on this stretch. It's just a little more awkward with the way the natural line weaves you across the track. You want to get single file by Blanchimont though. Even though it's flat out in the MX-5, it's still not worth trying to go side by side. After that comes the braking for the bus stop chicane. This is your last best chance to get an overtake in. Because of the high speeds, a lot of guys fall victim to overshooting it, so even if someone's later than you on the brakes, you can still get the spot back. There's one final spot where you can rack up a 1x, so get yourself a clean exit. Hopefully, you held it all together, and as we come back to the line, we finished a lap around Spa.
Thank you, Joe, for that lap around Spa. All right, my turn to give you a lap. This time we'll do it around the point standings. Keep in mind that these numbers do not take into account the 4 drop races allowed for in the rules. Now, names you won't see on the chart are race winners like Robert Hartley and DJ Alessadrini. But when drop races start to be accounted for, drivers such as them with less than perfect attendance will be helped out. Sonny Kanchan assumed his familiar station at the top. Canadian Mike Dam was at the top of the chart coming into last round, but he falls after a no-show at VIR. Just above Dam is the Greek streak Ioannis Boudalidis, who was a 3rd and a 4th on his last 2 times out. David Baton falls a spot. Travis Wallace was a race winner last season, rounding out the overlay. All right, Joe, for new viewers, let's talk about the event details.
Absolutely, and well, the details are important today because look at this. While usually we get 25-minute races, today's the long one, 45 minutes long. You can expect a pit stop, a scheduled stop because of that. The setups are open in these cars, so they can tweak them to their liking. Now, the MX-5 is a relatively basic car, so there's not a whole lot you can do, but you can find some speed out of it around here. They have an incident cap in this series, which means you'll be disqualified if you go over that 17 number incident. And then for the points that you were just describing, they have the official iRacing points to determine that. And those points are affected by the iRating of the driver's bill. And well, today it is pretty stacked considering it's a popular track.
We're pushing almost 4,000 for a strength of field, about over 3,800. My gosh. Makes it hard for some of the drivers as we do have a split. There is another race going on. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see all the drivers that we're familiar with here as it did split. One driver that got bumped out of it last time is car number 15, Derek Holland. Good to see him back. He tries to get a qualifying Joe. Joe, these guys got to hustle to get in 2 qualifying laps. We're almost out of time.
I don't think they're actually going to get in 2 qualifying laps, if I'm honest, because if just under 3 minutes, remember they got 8 minutes to qualify here. You have to account for the out lap. That's almost 9 minutes worth. So I just don't think there's enough time to get around.
That really puts the pressure on. And that's something you might want to understand going into qualifying. Make sure you get one in the bank because you may not have the second one back in there in your pocket to use if you need it.
And this of all tracks is so insanely easy to get it off track around here. It's notorious on iRacing for that. And for those that don't know, that discounts your lap. It doesn't count if you have even one off track where they consider you going outside of the bounds of what is considered the racing surface. That's because it's got all this paved runoff like you see right here outside of Blanchimont. It's where if Holland were to go all the way off to the right, this lap would just get thrown away by the stewards essentially. So you got to get it clean here in this one lap that I expect most drivers to have to use.
You can, as we look at Derek Holland, you can see if you didn't know where you were, you could probably tell from the weather. We are at Spa. It is ugly. It always has bad weather in Spa in the real world. iRacing trying to do the same. Let's take a quick look at that weather as he comes across. Here comes some times. Holland slots in, well, initially in 6th position. The fall down as more people come in. Joe, it's cold.
Yep, it's nice and cool out here. 66 degrees track temperature. That's about as low as it'll get here on iRacing. I don't think I've ever seen it lower than that, honestly. So it will be very grippy, and that'll be advantageous to these cars because, as I mentioned in the track description, Bill, there's a lot of really fast corners. Now, Obviously, if it's slippery, then most of them would still be flat out, but it can affect how much you'd be willing to go side by side. With this much grip, I think you're going to see some aggressive moves.
Yeah, that track temperature for some cars, that could be an issue. The tires don't heat up, but for these MX-5s, the colder the better. At least that's my impression. That's how I feel, and a lot of drivers would confirm that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's really it doesn't affect them too much. They're basically road tires that they've got on here, so you can't overheat them too badly. You can, but you're going to have to be racing really aggressively. And honestly, the only time I've heard drivers talk about overheating the tires is when you're dealing with tiny margins like this guy right here, Sonny Cantion, where you get so fast and you need every little inch, every little bit of grip possible, and those guys can feel the difference. Unfortunately, I would not count myself among that fast crowd, Bill.
A driver I'd like to take a quick look at is the driver in car number 4, Felipe Calderon. A name we did not mention. He has wins from last season. He's currently sitting second on the grid as we look at Sonny Cantion.
And nobody's going to make it back, just like I predicted. You can see less than 10 seconds. Sonny's the farthest ahead here, and he's not even anywhere near the finish line.
And that's going to be it. They're only going to get one lap in. 15 drivers were able to put in times. 4 did not. On the pole, it's going to be Sonny Cantion. Inside is Luis Felipe Calderon. Watch out for him. He's quick. Mike the Amsterdam inside of row 2. Elmer Eckletit in the second position out there in row 2. David Paton is going to be flanked by Ionis Mobilidis. Nicholas Berger and Marcelo Estubio in the 7th and 8th spot. 9th and 10th go Kasui Matsumura and Ivan Garcia. Joe?
Clifford Edmond is going to be starting 11th. The outside of the row, that row will be Derek Holland. Dmitry Skirdov will be 13th, and John White will be P14. Last driver to get a time in was Lee Martin in 15th. Then you've got Stephen Van Opstal, Yasuda Shiraiwa, Rui Corimbra, and Matt Morse rounding out a 19-car field. Not a bad show considering it's split.
All right, for those fans doing the consumption game every time one of the commentators butchers the last name, Joe, why don't you take a shot at the driver sitting in 4th position? What do you think?
Ellercott would be my guess.
Ellercott. All right, we can go with that.
Erlicott, actually. I screwed that up.
Take a sip, everybody. Joe Peak. When Joe doesn't take 2, of course, we recommend you do it with apple juice.
With grape juice,
GSRC cares, yeah. As we're going to have our little passing camera, going to go right between the 2 columns of cars. There's Sonny Cantion to your left, Luis Felipe Calderon, Mike Dam, and then there he is, Elmer Erlicott, right there in the 4th position in that blue car. Watch out for him. That's a name we do not know. To your left, that's Paton Mumaludis, sitting right there on your right. Look at that beautiful Belgian sky pushing down on this racetrack. Not so overcast there. Maybe the sun might peek its head in here in a second. All right, the engines start to harmonize. Gather up the chicken steak, cover me on the cows. The horses are out of the barn, and it is Sonny Cantion out in front. He is flanked by Calderon. Calderon looking to go around the outside as they work through the source. They do not get that done. In 3rd position, it is Dam. Erlicott back there in 4th. Rounded out your top 5, David Paton. Clean so far.
Yeah, and thankfully everybody managed to avoid the typical La Source hairpin melee that happens in a lot of standing starts. So nice heads up from everyone. I'm curious to see who is actually going to try and take the lead here, because like I said, we got a pit stop. Fuel is on everybody's mind.
Okay, putting the toothpaste in the jar, going through the middle. That is Mike the Amsterdam as he splits Cantion and Calderon. Calderon on the inside, Cantion on the outside, but your leader now is the Canadian Mike Dam. Cantion slots into 2nd, Calderon waits in 3rd.
Erlicott lifted, saw what was going on with the 3 wide, decided really didn't need any of that. Behind them, look at David Paton, though. He's got to try and make sure that he stays with him because he went side by side with Mumulidis. And if anybody has a split out here, they're going to lose the draft, and that'll be big.
As usual, what so happens is the front of the field is pretty well behaved. The action is frantic in the farther back. They go, oh, that's a great camera shot as they come underneath you. The car is too wide that you saw go underneath. That's a Subio. He is quick. And Clifford Evan, they race back for 8th.
Yeah, Evans able to take that spot. Oh, deep onto the brakes and a Puan. And Subio gets turned around.
That was John White that got into him, took it in really deep, could not keep a tight inside line. White turns a Subio. Subio has not had any either luck or respect, whatever point you want to use, whatever word fits, as they go to the back of the field.
Yeah, I wouldn't put any blame on Eusebio because that was a very, very late dive from John White there. Both of them able to get it going, thankfully, but they have definitely lost the draft compared to the rest of the field. And the other thing that we need to discuss, Bill, is when they made that contact, the big thing about these MX-5s at a track like this, you don't want damage on the car because that's going to hurt your straight line speed. Horrible.
Going under the camera, the cars that were too wide there was Mumilides as he makes the pass on David Paton. The Greek driver now up into 5th spot. Paton rounding out, starting the back half of your top 10. Let's tell you who that is. Paton, Nicholas Berger back there in 7th, Evan in 8th. Dmitry Shirov back there in 9th. Boy, that's a great battle going on there for 9th, 10th, and 11th. Boy, that is something else. We're looking at it as they work through the through the chicane.
Yeah, a lot of side by side, and they're paying for it because they're losing grip on the top group. Looks like Van Opstal trying to see if he can get something to the inside here. He's already got the car inside of Garcia, but I think he's not close enough for a pass on Matsumura.
Van Opstal is quick. He was not able to put in a qualifying time. He had to start way back at 16th position. He's already made up 5 spots now, as he'll be in good position to get the draft on Matsumura.
Back to the Kimmel straight again. And last time it was Dam who wanted to be at the front. Canchin's right behind him. And he looks like he actually wants to swap around too, but it's 3 wide behind him, Bill.
Mumilides, the Greek driver, scoots through. He gets 2 and was looking to make it even more as he gets right up on the back of Dam, but he decides that's enough for this lap.
Looks like he is going to slot into P4 in that. So it's essentially a 8-car breakaway for the moment after this first lap over.
The guy who doesn't belong is the caboose of that train, Clifford Evan. He was in 11th position. He's up there racing in 8th right now. Everybody else qualified pretty much in the spot they're racing, give or take a position or 2.
Yeah, that was a great job by Evan to basically stay out of that trouble, try to grab hold, and at this point, all he needs to do is just ride the coattails.
Right on board with Clifford right now, looking at the 7 cars that are in front of him.
Bit of a battle behind him between Matsumura and Van Opstal. You mentioned it, he didn't get that qualifying lap in. I think he's pretty desperate to try and get up to that next train, but they're already about 4 seconds behind, so I'm afraid the train probably left the station already.
Yes, that one is long gone. But it is good racing back here as we look back. Here comes the Van Opstal making a move to the inside. Will be leading the second group.
Matsumura certainly not making it easy for him. Unfortunately, eventually, if you get enough speed on one of these long straights, you're just going to use the momentum to go on by, and that's what happened right there.
Hey, let's go ahead and take an opportunity to go back to 15th position. Give a little love to this guy. This is Matt Morris in a side-by-side battle with Rue Kumbra. Kumbra is going to lose that spot. Morris is going to get up to 15th. Looking on in the popcorn position is Lee Martin.
Up ahead of them, it's broken out once again as well.
Yeah.
Skirdov being passed by Garcia down to the inside. Let's see if they can get this done through La Source, though. He's a little tight. Beautiful move by Dimitri. It's exactly what you need to do in that situation. Just carry your speed around the outside, get on the power as soon as you can, and look, it got him the position right back, even though he didn't have the inside of the corner.
And Opsal leads this train in 9th. Matsumura back there in 10th. Shidroff in 11th. He's being chased by Garcia. Derek Holland looking on as well. Meanwhile, up in front, they continue to dance. Who's up in front right now? Well, it looks like it's going to be Mike Dan. Mumilidis in second.
Yeah, he overtook Sonny Canchin. I kind of expect, or at least I figured Sonny would probably be happy to just hang back here in either second, third, or fourth or thereabouts, because he's had so many years in the MWT build.
Yeah.
He knows how to work races with pit stops, especially at tracks like this.
And maybe this broadcast is becoming a victim of our experience covering these type of races, but the action is, as we're going right now, the action is usually back in the mid-patch right now. The guys up front will behave themselves. Side-by-side battle. This is Skirov in a battle there. Matsumura right in the mix as well, looking on as Garcia. Man, they are nose to tail. This is some exciting stuff.
And don't count out Derek Holland, who's the fourth car in that train. He was thinking about it. He's given the inside, interestingly, by Garcia. But I think he learned his lesson from the other two drivers that spun on the first lap through Puhan. Just not worth that risk quite yet.
One of the drivers in the mix back there is the Bullet Train. We have not seen him very often racing the car number 7. Yatsuda Shiraiwa, good to be back with us. Boy, look, they are side by side. On the inside is Garcia. On the outside is Derek Holland. Garcia gets that spot for 12th as they lose a little touch with Matsumura.
Oh, there's a contact behind them. That was Shiraiwa and Coimbra. And Coimbra actually hit the wall, Bill. This goes back to what I was talking about, where some of the corners can be a little tricky. And when you go too wide through there, through the second part of Stavilo like that, he clipped a little bit of the inside grass. The touch to the outside just started to spin the car. And at that point, it was very, very tough to save it. I would have been shocked if he would have kept it pointing forward.
So as we talked about, the excitement takes place in the back. What's going on up front? Is they're going to come across here and complete one more lap? Well, it's Dam, Leadys, Canchin.
And Dam took the lead on the very first lap, if I'm remembering right. So he's been spending the most time basically eating up the most fuel of anybody. Now, he could try and just simply let Mumilidis by. Let's see if he does. And that could allow him to try and slot in the line and save some fuel himself. We'll see if he's thinking about that.
The driver you got to keep an eye on is Calderon. Back there racing. He'll be in that mix soon. He's in 7th position, just minding his time right now.
This car is getting up to the high-flying speeds of 114 miles an hour at the end of the straight, Bill.
We're going to leave this organized 8 to a much more chaotic set of drivers back here. There's a dive on the inside. Oh, it is not going to work. That's Matsumura off.
And Skirov, he actually hits the tire barrier, and he's able to get it going because it was just a glance.
This is Skirov on the inside, making the try to get the pass.
Hard to say on this one. I almost would consider this a racing incident because Skirov did outbrake himself a little bit, but I can't tell if that was exacerbated by a little ghost contact between them.
I think so. It looked like the car was ready to turn in, and then the ghost contact, the little space between them, wouldn't allow him to go right, and they come across each other.
See the damage on the car, unfortunately.
Come back to the front train.
Yep, it's still just everybody kind of slotting in the line. Now, Mumilidis, has been staying at the front ever since they took the lead away at the end of the Kimmel Straight. And damn, you can see a big lift right there from Mike. So he's not interested in taking it back quite yet.
We've seen Mumilidis race. We know Mike Danby's been around for a long time. Sonny Canchin, of course, has a ton of experience here on GSRC. A driver we're not familiar with, Elmer Ericott, back there in 4th position. He seems quick, Can he make a pit stop? We'll find out.
Whoa, a mistake from Dam. Into La Source, way wide.
He's going to lose a spot, maybe more.
And Paton spun. Paton's on the wall out of La Source.
Right in front of Berger. Berger had a great view of this one, so now the train goes down to 7.
And all this simply is you'll see him swing out a little bit wide. There's a little AstroTurf on the outside of the curb. He must have had his foot in it, and the car just might not have been fully gripped up. And these cars you really don't want to lift because they're such momentum-based cars. And unfortunately, in this case, it bit him.
Not sure if he got any wall there. He's going to have to get that going.
It puts him all the way down in 18th, sadly, so he's way at the back.
He did a good job of keeping the car parked till all the traffic went around. Let's go back to that second group, Joe.
I think Shiraiwa just got a spot away from Garcia. He's still fighting hard, even though he had that off a little bit earlier. Oh, and now he's going to get a shove. Manages to collect it in time, which is pretty impressive, but it is getting very elbows out in the mid-pack.
Yes, it is indeed.
And that's actually costing them because Morris is pulled away from that group, but we got a little bit of a battle for the lead. Although I think Kanchan just backed out of it and lets Mumalides keep it for now.
The pole sitter has not spent a lot of time up front. I'm talking about Kanchan. He got past. I think he's happy back there. Save a little fuel.
Yeah, I haven't seen any real moves that seem like he has real intent to get in front. So I'm pretty certain from what I know of Sonny, he's just going to sit back there, and he's already good at saving fuel. He's almost the Scott Dixon of this series. So him sitting behind, to me, says that he's probably going to pull a gap, at least to the leader, if not maybe multiple other cars that aren't doing what he's doing.
He does a good job right behind. He's second. Little loose there, a little bit of an interesting racing line going on through the bus stop.
Yeah, that was actually Kanchan making contact with Mumalides. Got into the back of him.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this one more time as they work through the right-left chicane.
Let's watch his perspective. See if we can see any damage on the Greek driver afterwards.
Touch.
Damage is pretty minimal, shouldn't hurt his top-end speed. In front of Kanchan, you're seeing some wrinkles, but it's not slowed him down too much because he's already gotten by Ioannis.
Mike Dam, that's peeking to the inside there. He's going to go ahead and get around Mumalides.
And we might sound cavalier to the viewers about these passes for the lead, but even these drivers are feeling pretty cavalier about them for the moment. It's just, this is kind of how these sort of races play out in this car. Real quick, could we take a peek at the number 6 car, Van Opstal? He's now, he hasn't caught them, Bill, but he's managing the gap. It stayed at 5.5 seconds for a bit now. He's as fast as the leaders. It's just unfortunate that he's not faster.
Yeah, I agree.
All the cars behind him. Morris, I mentioned, he's in no man's land. It's spread out. He's getting away from Yatsuya Shiraiwa, who's still battling away with Garcia. They're working their way through the Fanyi chicane. Actually, if they start battling more, Derek Holland might be able to catch up to them because he is certainly within the draft. We'll see whether or not he can take it here. It's right on board with Holland. See what he can do. Looks like he's reeling him in, but not at a high rate of knots. Not sure that we'll see a pass from Holland on his way into the bus stop. Oh, what happened to Dam?
Yeah, he's coming to the pit stop. Nope, it's okay. He's taking a stop. Now, I worry about this because now he's going to be all by himself. Unless he thinks that the pace he can run by himself might be better than the nonsense that those guys were doing. We'll see how this plays out, but usually you don't like to be alone.
Yeah, absolutely. If our viewers are fans of oval racing, consider this sort of like Talladega or Daytona. You don't want to pit alone. You want a friend to come in with you. Mike Dam doesn't have any friends, sadly, right now. The other question is, Bill, where does he come out? If he comes out amidst some of the other battling cars, that could also slow him down. Even though it seems like a good thing because he'll have the draft. Like you said, they're not playing as nice as the leaders are, so there's a big risk in coming out in that group.
He rolls. I think he's going to have pretty clear speed track ahead of him. Fortunately, the guy he may catch is David Paton, who qualified 5th, racing back in 18th. David's pretty quick, so that's a good guy to be around. Maybe they can work together.
Oh, look at this. Elmar is, now that one of the drivers have pitted, he's starting to make some moves. He tried to pass Mumulidis, but it didn't pan out. This is fascinating. You mentioned it earlier. He's just been kind of sitting back and forth this whole race long. I'm curious to see what he's going to do this time by the pits, because he didn't make a move at all until one of the other drivers came in, and that almost seems like he's taking some sort of cue.
Yeah, I'm catching out in front, pretty much racing on his own right now, so maybe this will play out okay for Dam. Now, what will happen is the strategy will change with these guys now up front. They know that they have to run hot laps because they have one of their guys who's left the train out there being pretty quick by themselves.
And I kind of worry that maybe Sonny Kanchan will be able to drop them. He's already got it up to 0.9 of a second back to Mumulidis. Part of that, it could be because of the side-by-side action that we saw for second place. So this is actually panning out really good for the Aussie.
Lap number 7. Of course, this is a timed lap, a timed race, 45 minutes.
Checking in on the second group to see, and then they're very close right now, actually. Garcia. Oh, actually, accident happening right now. Garcia just turned. Was that, yeah, Shira Iwa.
Oh, yeah, but from my look at it, as he gets into Shira Iwa, it looks like he left him about a foot. This looked really like net code. We'll see how it comes across on the machine that is actually showing you, but boy, it looked like net code to me. Watch the two cars, there seems to be a big gap between them.
Yeah, and let's see, before I say anything, Shira Iwa racing from Japan. Yeah, Club Asia, so we're close to there, and Garcia is racing from the Hispano-America Club, so there is big distance between them.
There you see the car spin, and there was no contact there. That's just part of iRacing.
Yeah, but it's always good to leave a little bit of leeway when you race with people, especially if you think they might be from somewhere distant across the planet.
All right, Kanchan's making his stop.
And he's out already.
Calderon is out. Mumulidis is out. And there's Mike Dam right in the mix there with him, so Mike is okay.
So here's the interesting thing. Mumulidis took away the lead with those pit stops. Calderon followed him. And Sonny, well, I'm eating my words here. He actually came out one of the worst. I think we're going to see a swap for what will be the lead because Calderon is overtaking Mumulidis.
Calderon, we've seen him be very quick. He won races last season.
So now it's looking like something of a 4-car breakaway, but what is Erlicott going to be able to do. Remember, Berger and Eben as well were in that top group. And I wonder if Garcia got a little bit of damage from that contact.
Yeah.
Because I saw him head into the pits, and then I haven't seen him since then.
Front runners, see if they're going to come in.
Yeah, this is out of Stavelo up towards Blanchimont that they're heading. So just a couple more corners to go.
Berger chasing. Eben back there in third. The final 3 cars that need to come in.
Up to the pit entry. Ooh, a little bit of a look from Eben even. Thinking about maybe trying to overtake Berger. 1, 2, 3. All of them are going to come in now.
So let's pick up Calderon. He's leading that team.
Now
Playing a little bit of defense, holding Dan back.
Yeah, the saving grace for this second group might be the fact that these guys have certainly thrown away the niceness now. They are fighting for these positions instead of playing fuel games. And all that fighting back and forth could have slowed them up slightly.
Calderon through the bus stop.
Let's see where our others are. Elmar just taken off. Oh, it's going to be awful close. They'll definitely be with them still. Wow, Elmar almost up to the lead with that, but he doesn't have the momentum. And how many cars are going to pass him before they get to Eau Rouge? That's the question. Looks like it's going to stop at what should become third once all the pit stops are done.
Calderon still out in front of those cars that have pitted. Mumilidis in second.
So the big losers in that sequence were Eben and Berger. They have lost touch with the group. I don't think they're any. You can see them in the background there. I don't think they're nearly close enough to try to run them down.
Elmar Irikop, we don't know about him. He races in we're calling it 11th right now. It'll be third once every pit's catching back there in fourth.
So Calderon leading the group. Now what's interesting is they've got Martin there, and this is sort of a wild card since he hasn't pitted yet. They're going to be faster than him, and I don't know if he's going to let them through or if he's going to actually fight for these positions. We'll let the first one through.
Did indeed. Our leader is Stephen Van Opstrold. He has not come in yet.
Oh, this is horrible placement for Elmar. Had to go the long way around to the first apex of Fanyes, and look at the gap that cost him.
Calderon happy leading this train still.
All right, so what about...
Van Opstrold come in?
Yep, he's coming in. Eusebio needs to pit still. Matsumura. Neither of those two come in.
They can probably go, usually figure about 2/3 of the way there.
Baton stays out. John White stays out, but Shkirdov comes in. It's getting a little bit dark, I have to admit. It is currently, looks like a little past 7 p.m. virtual standard time here in Belgium. Some of that might be the cloud cover in the mountains, just not much sun peeking through. So that leaves us with only 4 cars waiting to pit now.
So, Joe, that train originally, there is going to be a pass for me. Let's go there right now. This is Mobilitas making a move on the inside of Calderon. We had 7 cars up there originally. Well, there was 8, then we lost 1 with the accident. So who did we lose from pit stops? I guess
yeah, that was
Sirov was in there. Should have been in the mix too.
No. It was Berger and Eben, remember? And
Okay.
actually, those two
Eben,
are working together well right now. They are bump drafting. They just, they need to be careful. I don't know if you remember what happened at Interlagos last season. But, that incident limit, you got to be careful with how hard you bump.
You can bump draft your way right into the Twilight Zone.
But they've got this figured out. They're trying to do what they can to use each other to get back up to them. But I can't say that I have faith that they will be able to catch them, if I'm honest.
Gap about 3 seconds that they'll have to make up. And they have 17 minutes to do it, but the guys are trying to catch up pretty darn quick. Steven Van Ostral remains your leader for now, but he still has to make his stop.
Van Opstel's been in.
Oh.
It's Eusebio who's yeah.
My timing and scoring is down, so okay, thank you, Joe.
Yeah, there we see our 2 leaders, Marcello and Matsumura, also following very closely behind him. These two have been working together for a while now. Let's see a big lift there from Kazuki. So clearly more interested in thinking big picture. Both of them come in. Wow, that was close with the pit wall entry for Marcello. Nearly scraped the right side of the car on that concrete wall.
So with those pit stops out of the way, Dan moves up now into 3rd.
Yep. You can open the floodgates and
now
Dan
he's
will
Yep.
take away the top spot. I had to get one pun in.
Five-car race for the lead.
Now here's where it's going to get a little bit interesting in the mid-pack. Remember I mentioned Eben and Berger working together. We've lost track of Van Opstal in all this because he may have been 5 seconds behind that lead pack, but now that Berger and Eben have dropped that group, it's less than 4 seconds between themselves and Van Opstal. So he could see himself looking for a potential P6 if he can catch those two.
Fields starting to spread themselves out. How about a quick look at 10th position if we can? The little battle going on here between Morris and Derek Holland. Morris is up 6 spots. iRacing. Let me correct myself, 9 spots.
Holland just going to wait behind him for the moment. And that's Kazuki Matsumura as well. That's making it a 3-car train now. Actually, he's right up on them.
So nice battle to get inside the top 10.
Down through Rivage. Ooh, Kazuki's struggling there for some reason. Quite as strong as the other two here in these slower corners. From Holland's perspective, Hoosier doing what he can to try and get by the Australian. Really not a whole lot of braking here into Fagny, so even though he looked pretty close, there's not much point in trying to send one in unless it's the last lap and you're getting desperate. There's not many instances where I think you would really be that desperate where you'd have to get by in that corner, because right here is where you can use that draft to try and just slipstream right by a person.
Up front, it is still Luis Calderon out in front, being chased by Mumilidis. boy, they are nose to tail, 5 cars deep.
Yeah, and the reason that they're fighting so much now is because you want to position yourself probably at least no farther back than third for the final lap, which even though we've got 13 minutes left, it's going to come up quicker than you think. I believe we're looking at 4 or 5 laps until the white flag.
Thinking about 5 as they come across the line. Yep. You can win this one from third. You can win this one from fourth. Don't be surprised if it's a 2x2 battle down into the bus stop and a drag race to the finish line.
Looks like we're going to swap around one more time here. I think after that, maybe we've got a chance to go over the back marker review.
So as they settle down, we're going to be 3 wide, Dam in the middle. Canchin coming up on the inside. Let's see if Canchin goes all the way and wants the lead. He does. Dam gives him room. Let's move Sonny up front.
Yeah, but that one was a lot more aggressive. He could have given up the ghost and let Dam continue to lead, but now Sonny wants to be up front. Why don't we jump back, Bill, and do the back marker shout out while we've got the opportunity? I think our first driver that we'd want to talk about is Lee Martin, sitting in 16th. Martin started this race P15, so he's actually gone backwards one. He did put a qualifying time in, so this has not been the best of races for him. Then Dmitry Skirdov in P15. He's definitely moved backwards. Remember, he had an incident earlier on working his way around Rivage. Just got tipped around and brushed the wall. John White is sitting in 14th, which is exactly where he started. So basically just running a relatively consistent race for the number 19 car. David Baton, though, this is a disappointing day for him. He made a mistake all on his own coming out of La Source. Started 5th. He's now running only 13th and looking like he's not likely to move farther up. Katsuki Matsumura is sitting in P12. He's had a little bit of action today, a little bit of contact with a couple of cars, but he's running in P12 and running his own race, looking at maybe 2 positions in front of him. We'll do 2 more. Derek Holland here in 11th, started in 12th. He is in a nice little fight with the likes of Matt Morris, who did not get a timed lap in and qualifying, has managed to work his way forward at a potential top 10, and that is going to conclude with a Trip and Drees back marker shout-out.
There you go, as the drivers come around up front one more time. To complete lap number 12, 10 minutes of racing to go.
Surprised the headlights on the cars haven't turned on. Usually they turn on automatically. It's getting pretty dark out there. Oh, big run over the curb. That was Morris, I believe, doing that through the bus stop.
We look at that battle for 10th. Morris in the blue and yellow car leading the pack.
Looks like
up front, we got a little bit of move going on. Mike Dam.
Oh, and there goes Mumulidis, giving him a bump draft. Behind them, wow, here comes Elmar like a shot. He gets himself back up to 4th.
You're right on the back of Canchin. Calderon, who was leading after the pit stop, now is back in 5th. I would say all 5 of these drivers are fast enough to have a legitimate chance to win this one. It's all about chance right now and positioning themselves.
I 100% agree. This is a thinking man's game at this point between these 5. Interestingly, because of a little bit of late braking from Mumulidis into Lacombe, that gave a small gap to Mike Dam. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to pull him back in, but that's something they need to watch out for, because you don't want to outbrake yourself on the final lap like that. If you give that gap away, then it makes it all the harder to try to slingshot by when you get a chance here coming up to this portion.
Joe, whenever we race at Spa, I think it's always important that we tell the viewers where the finish line is going to be. How does it work today?
Today it is right after the bus stop chicane, so right after the pit entry. We'll come out of there, so it's not the start line. It's separate from that. It's they're basically using what F1 uses for their finish line, and I've never totally understood why they separate the finish line from the start line. Something about the timing lines and some logistical reason that I just never totally understood.
Making a look on the inside of Catch, and he will wait till third. Wait in third and wait one more time.
Yeah, as you watch them, it's, I believe, well, no, yeah, this line right here, I think, is what they're looking for.
So they don't have a lot of time to get the pass made coming out of the bus stop. They got to hustle it.
And it is possible, we've seen it before, Bill, that if you pull an over-under, if you get side by side into the bus stop, you can try and out-accelerate someone depending on how good you are at finding the grip.
I've done a ton of races in this car track combination. I've seen the finish line there. I've seen people protect the inside going to the bus stop and win and lose. I've seen people protect the outside going to the bus stop and win and lose. Because coming out of the bus stop, you have that momentum on the outside if you can play it right. Look at this. Miletus makes the move. Catch is going to go to the inside.
Going to go 3 wide, canching all the way to the bottom.
And look who's getting
frisky. You won't want to be that shallow.
Yeah. It's time to get a little bit frisky as Urquhart starts to say, hey, I'm in this too.
Yeah, nearly made contact with Miletus. Yeah, Bill, we've seen cars come through that final bus stop chicane upside down now.
Yes, indeed. Here's a pass for third.
Oh! Elmar's getting aggressive.
Gives Dam a little bit of a shove. Time to go racing.
That's
what
DH
Urquhart is saying.
Yeah, and I think from what I'm seeing, the DH driver knows how to play this game. He might be a newcomer to the broadcast, but he's trying very, very hard to make sure he is in the top 3 come the last lap.
You can see as we ride on board with Dam, you can see the pass from the lead side by side. On the inside is Ketchen. He's on the outside. Ow.
It was a really good move by Dam through the first. He just hoovered him up.
I did indeed. Don't forget about the driver in 5th, Luis Felipe Calderon. We saw him be very competitive last season.
On board with Luis. Yeah, not sure if maybe he's just playing possum here, because he's been sitting in the back of this group for a bit now.
Qualified on the outside of the front row.
Just all the way off track for Dam. I'd love to. I would love the day that iRacing gives us an accurate reading of how many incidents each driver has, because that's something I want to know the closer we get to the finish here.
They come across the line with just over 5 minutes to go. That means we'll have 2 laps.
In all this fighting, they've continued to pull away from Berger and Eben, who are still fighting for 6, but they've been joined by Van Opstal.
Yeah, you talked about it, and he had a long gap. That was 3 seconds he had to make up, and he did it all on his own. Had to start at the back of the grid because he wasn't able to put in a qualifying time, so Van Opstal now racing in 8th and is well within striking distance. And Joe, honestly, I'm surprised he got there. Yeah, I thought he was too far back.
I'm not. From what I've seen him race in the MWT, I figured he would run them down.
Look at this. Trying to find somewhere to put the car. His Urquhart, he goes to the right, he goes to the left, he's back and forth. Almost making contact. Moudalides almost gets into the back of Kanchan.
I think he did. I thought I saw contact on my screen. Oh, and now he makes contact with Calderon, too. It's getting a little bit rougher.
Calderon is fast back in 5th. You can't wait too long. I don't know if you can start the white flag lap in 5th position and still get there. Maybe you can. Let's look at Holland. A little bit of a chase. We talked about this. Matt Morris, they race nose to tail. Good to see Derek back in the top split.
Yeah, Morris, as I mentioned, coming from similar circumstances that Van Opstal did. Not getting that lap in, going from 19th to currently sitting in 11th or 10th. The number 14 car probably going to be satisfied, maybe not pleased, but I figure this is good enough considering what he gave himself to work with.
Another battle there between John White and David Paton. Paton usually racing a little farther up, had issues, trying to make the best of it today. Go back up to the front. Dam's got about a 5-car length lead right now, but Ketchen is in the tow. Now they have to start thinking about where you want to be. They're coming up on the last lap. Dam's going to be the leader coming across the line for the white flag.
And this isn't a death knell for Dam, even though he's up at the front. Because if anybody passes him, you could still pass them back on his way up to the bus stop this last time through. What I'm curious is if we're going to see anybody play any tricky games and hold back on their way up the Kimmel Straight here.
It is the white flag lap. Dam out in front. Catch the newcomer, Ericott. Here comes the move for the lead.
I was going to say, this is what I thought would happen with Kanchan. He likes to lead. He feels confident about defending on drivers. He's going to get some help from Elmar on top of it. Oh, 3 wide for Moumoulides.
He backs out.
Boy. That was a smart move, I'll be honest. There's no reason at that point he's going to get more opportunities. But now look at this. That side-by-side action between Erlicott and Dam is letting Kanchan get away.
As if Sonny knows what's going to happen. He puts himself out there. The nonsense behind, he opens up a gap. And when you have to run down Sonny Kanchan, you've got a tough order.
Yeah, they really need to work together from here. You can see Elmar's trying to stretch the edges of this track as far out as he can go, just so that he can get back up. This gap is already up to half a second.
Driver back in 5th. Calderon gets around. Moumoulides now up into 4th. They begin to run down the Australian driver in the lead.
Is going to have to hope for an almighty corner exit out of Stavolo. You're not lifting through this second part, so that was the critical moment. Was it enough? I think he's going to have the slipstream.
I think he's close enough. He's back by about 4 car lengths. He's got to tuck right in behind the Australian driver. Which line will Sonny protect going into the bus stop? Will he stay track right or track left? Here comes Ericott. He's there now. Sonny moves to the right. He's going to protect the inside of the bus stop. It's going to be too wide going in. Sonny's pretty good under braking. They go side by side coming out. It's going to be a drag race. Watch the momentum from the top side. Kanchan is behind, but now he puts it out on the AstroTurf, and sure enough, the momentum is going to get him there. Give the win to Sonny Kanchan. Elmar Ericott gets second. Mike Dam third.
3 wide across the line.
Yeah.
Wow. Watch that one again. Oh, first. Oh, it looks like Eben beat out both Berger and Eben beat out Van Opstal, which surprises me.
And now we'll take a look at that finish.
Mike Dam was being real clever there. It almost worked out for him. I actually saw his tail lights, his brake lights, come on as they were coming up to the bus stop. Like, he braked early, watching them go side by side, thinking, all right, you two screw around. I'm going to focus on a corner exit. We just about made that work.
There you go. That's what Spa is. Tight, calm racing. Stay close, and it all happens on the very last lap. All right, the racing is over here at Spa, but our broadcast is far from done. We're going to step aside for a quick moment, but we will return to run down the finishing order, announce the round's queen of the ball, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Stay close. You're watching GSRC on IESN. Streaming cyberspace into your place via the iRacing eSport Network. This is the Global SimRacing Channel's coverage of the Advanced Mazda Cup Strength of Field event Round 4 from Spa. And now, before we go to driver interviews, it is time for the fan favorite segment, Queen of the Ball. What it takes to win Queen of the Ball is undefinable, but you know it when we see it. The award salutes Queenie, a fan and supporter of this series and this broadcast. And tonight, the award goes to, we gotta get some real fanfare for this one, Elmer Ericott, the newcomer, whose finishes in second position, was exciting, put on a great show, did his very best to get the win, was not able to get it. He finishes for second, but he was Queen of the Ball today. Let's give you the entire finishing order of the event. Sonny Ketchum gets the win as he starts on the pole, and he wins it, but that was far from wire to wire. Queen of the Ball, Elmer Elcott gets the second position. Mike Dam, excuse me, gets in third. Luis Felipe Calderon, behind him. Top 5 is Ionas Moudalidis. Rounding out your top 10, Nicholas Berger, a quiet run from him. Clifford Evan. 8th, 9th, and 10th go to Stephen Van Ostrel, Marcelo Studio, and Matt Morris. Joe?
Derek Holland takes 11th with Dave Baton finishing the disappointing 12th for him. John White, 13th today. Dmitry Skirov will be P14, got banged around a bit. Lee Martin finishes 15th, the last car in the lead lap. Then you've got Kazuki Matsumura finishing 16th. He was the DNF. Same thing with Garcia, 17th. Yasuta Shiraiwa in 18th, and Rui Coimbra in 19th.
And now we'll do interviews, and I have the honor of talking to our race winner, racing out of Australia. It's Sonny Canchin. Sonny, congratulations on the win. I want to go right to the very last corner, the bus stop. You decided to protect the inside, the right side of the track, so you have the momentum coming out.
Yeah, I so wanted to talk to you about it because, these tracks, it's all about draft and, luck, and there's also skill and experience counts. I did an Amjad, actually. Amjad, if you remember, season 12 MWT, race 1 Spa. He did that to me and he won the race. So I learned from him. So credit goes to Amjad.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's one of the interesting aspects of this track is you really have options on that last bus stop there. Let's go to the last lap. You sit back there, you wait a while, and then you said, okay, I had a hunch you'd like to be out in front when you see the white flag.
Yes, it all depends too when you want to be in front. I was trying to decide. I was trying to decide between being on the lead or in second, or it could be a third if you were Robert Hartley. Luckily, he wasn't there. But I was actually thinking about first or second. But who was behind me counts. I know. I wasn't sure how far away he was, but I was keeping an eye, and that amount of distance actually was enough for me to be in first and defend like Amjad did.
We cover a lot of these on GSRC. You race in a lot of these MX-5's event. Does the name Elmer Ericott, is that a name you've raced before? Is that new to you as well?
Elmer's new to me. Probably I might have raced before, but not often. So kind of new this race.
He was up there. He gave a good run for it. Hey, congratulations on another win. You came into it on the top of the points. You should come into next race at the top of the points, one would think. Congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks again. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Sonny Canchin gets the win. We'll see him tomorrow on the MX-5 World Tour. They'll be right back here, Joe, on the very same track. Who you got?
I got our third place finisher, Mike Dam. And Mike, since we talked to Sonny about strategy coming into that final chicane, let's talk with you. I noticed that those brake lights came on kind of early. Were you watching them side by side and thinking you'd pick up the scraps as they lost momentum, or what was going through your head going in there?
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I realized going down that back straight, I wasn't going to have a chance to pull alongside, so I just kind of knew I had to play my cards, see if they were going to go too wide through there. I could have. I did my best. I tried to dash right up on the inside, but just wasn't enough there.
Let's talk about the pit stops too. You were the earliest pitter of that top group and the only one to go in. Did you worry at all when you saw that you were the only car going in that maybe you'd lose the group, or was that actually your plan initially?
That was definitely my plan. I was going to do it on lap 6. I think usually that's what most of the guys were going to do, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I came out and I was wondering, if they decided to run the rest of the stint, they could have probably gapped me, but luckily they pit next lap.
Yeah, it worked out in your favor. So next round, we are going to what do we have up next here on our schedule? Looks like Laguna Seca. So very different track and a lot harder to pass there. Going into that, are you focusing on your one lap speed and practice leading up to this race just so that you can put yourself in a good position?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a lot different than a Spa, whereas at Spa you're kind of just putting yourself in a position the whole race to make a run on the last lap. Definitely at a place like Laguna Seca, it's definitely a technical enough track where you can make a gap on somebody. So yeah, you're definitely going to have to work on pace, work on consistency, and if you get that chance, try to make a break for it.
Well, it wasn't a win, but it was a podium today. Congratulations on an excellent finish here at Spa.
Thank you, sir.
That's Mike Dam Bill, third place finisher.
And we're going to wrap up our interviews as we talk to the Greek streak here, Ioannis Moumoulidis. Ioannis, you have a copy?
Yes, I have a clear copy.
Okay. I got to give I want to go not to the last lap. I want to go to the lap before the last lap. You were in 4th position with a run on the front 3 guys, and I really thought you were going to go from 4th to 1st, but you thought better of it.
Yeah. I actually wanted to talk about my contact with Sonny.
Go ahead.
Well, that was interesting. I had Sonny right in front of me. I had Elmar right behind me on my right. So I didn't know when to pull in too early, and I would have hit Sonny, which I did, and too late, and I would have probably spun myself off of Elmar. And that's just such an unfortunate accident, but I love the racing. These guys, all of the front runners are amazingly clean. It's such a tight racing group, and it doesn't lack with action, especially in the pits. The pits are actually my favorite thing about this race.
It does change the strategy a bit. Mike Dam came off early. We were a little bit worried, but you guys came in right after that. And when it all set out, you guys all ended up back together again.
Yep. Actually, you can pit as soon as your the 2 gallons that you need to put in the pit stop just need to completely fill up your tank. So you can actually pit as soon as your tank hits 1.6 gallons.
Did you make your stop because other people made their stop, or were you coming in that lap no matter what?
No, I made my stop because Sonny came in.
Uh-huh.
So I actually ended up out of the pits quicker than him, which kind of surprised me. My pit crew really worked it there. But yeah, the last lap. I want to talk about the last lap as well, because I think, was it someone overtook me in that left-hander, went to the inside, and I was defenseless. Embarrassingly, I have to say I had 15 incidents, so I couldn't put myself at risk taking another incident.
We talked about that during the broadcast. You have to watch out for that, especially with a bump draft. We'll pick up one there in and out every once in a while. Hey, congratulations, though. You brought it home. It's going to be a good points day. You were 2nd in points. You'll still be in the mix. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys. I'll take a win next time.
There you go. All right. Well, we have a first 2-time winner today, as Sonny Ketchum picks that up. Let's go ahead and thank everybody at the Advanced Mazda Cup community, especially Jordy Fike, for supporting this broadcast. On screen now are just some of the equipment and software used to stream cyberspace into your place. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our iconic music. See the screen to how to get a hold of her. The Advanced Mazda Cup returns in 1 week. That's going to be round 5, a 25-minute sprint race from Laguna Seca. GSRC via IESN will be there to bring you all the action. Next up on IESN broadcast, well, that'll be RaceSpot's coverage of the F3 Championship at Monza. Coverage begins in just about 2.5 hours, I guess, from now. It's going to be 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Hope you tune in for that one. Sliding across your screen right now are just some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, you can go to Global SimRacing Channel or check us out on social media, Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Also, if you've done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by heading over to our YouTube page and hitting that big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Joe, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as Sonny Ketchum becomes our first 2-time winner this season as he picks up the win here at Spa. With that said, we're off to have fun, storm of the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.